Well, welcome to the Easy Odds videocast, and it's FA Cup time. No Premier League action coming away this weekend. We've had the third round behind us. A few Premier League teams were knocked out, of course. But for the fourth round, it just seems as if the big sides have got it plainly easy. We'll have a look at the outright betting for you right at the end of this videocast. But we've got Tom the Powell with us. We've got Simon Blueblood Hopper to give you their views of four separate ties. Let's start with Tom first of all. Tom, I'm going to start with the second game you've got on your list because I'm absolutely flabbergasted about Aston Villa versus Bournemouth and the bet that you're going to go for here.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of logic involved here. Firstly, I would have to say that I think to win the match, I think Bournemouth are actually too short a price. They're like 49 to 20. Best price to win the match. Sometimes I've got them a lot shorter than that. I actually think that's a little bit too short because Villa don't lose many at home. I think they've lost one of the last 7 at home. That was against Liverpool last weekend. Right. I thought they were a little bit unfortunate there. The bet I'd go for in this one is Bournemouth to qualify at 5-4 because I basically think that's Bournemouth will draw double chance for this match because I think if it goes to a replay, Bournemouth will be firm favourites to win that. Not many teams go to Bournemouth and win. Villa really low on confidence at the moment. It's well documented their lack of goals and their lack of wins and lack of form and the disharmony at the club. So I think if this goes to a replay, Bournemouth will be firm favourites to win it and they should win the match. But basically all I'm saying is Bournemouth, don't back Bournemouth to simply win this match. They could do. I think they're too short, but I'd still back them to qualify at best price 5-4. Some have got them as short as 10 to 11 to qualify, which is too short, but 5-4 is a pretty decent price. Villa, I think, will struggle to break them down as they struggle to break every team down. They only beat Blackburn 1-0 in the third round, and that took an 88th minute decent goal from Benteke to win that game. They're just not creating very many chances. Bournemouth are obviously top of the championship at the moment, not playing particularly well, which is another reason why I wouldn't back them simply to win the match. They lost 2 of the last 3, played in midweek at Leeds as well and lost that game. They lost 2-1 at home to Norwich not too long ago, and Norwich only had 10 men. So Bournemouth to qualify here, better than Bournemouth to win the match, which I think is a few people will probably angle for, knowing that one team's out of form and one team's doing pretty well. But Bournemouth to qualify, I think, is a better price of 5-4.
Is there ever been a better case of your head ruling your heart on an Easy Odds videocast? I actually think if it goes back to Bournemouth, that it might suit Aston Villa a wee bit more.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, this game will be played in front of about 20,000 people who are booing.
Can't fancy Villa against anyone at the moment, can you?
Most of which will probably be Bournemouth fans, I would have thought as well. Okay, Hops, what have you got for us? Where are you going to go first of all?
First of all, Paul, I'm going to the Birmingham derby, Saturday 3 o'clock, Birmingham against West Brom.
That'll be rowdy, won't it?
It will be rowdy, it should be a good game. I think West Brom are a good price to win the match, actually, Paul. I don't tend to back favourites in the Premier League, but I think in the FA Cup it's slightly different. Favourites have a better record, and the bookies sometimes underestimate the chances of Premier League clubs when they go to Football League teams.
What do you think your friend, and he is your friend now, Tony Pulis, what kind of a side do you think he'll put out here?
Well, I think he'll put out his strongest side available. I know he's not really an FA Cup kind of guy, although he took Stoke to the final a few years ago, but he didn't mess about against Gateshead in the last round. It was only Gateshead, but he played his absolute full-strength team. Comfortably won the match, and interestingly there's a 12-day gap between Premier League fixtures here, so I don't think there's any reason why he shouldn't play, and if you listen to him after the interview against Everton, he was like, we need to build more team cohesion, he'll be working on things on the training ground. I think he'll want to play his best team so he can get more of an idea about his ideas transferred to the players for the Premier League. And obviously they haven't conceded a goal yet under Pulis. They played 3 games, 4.5 hours of football, no goals conceded. I think they should be able to put Birmingham to the sword. I know Gary Rowett's done an amazing job with Birmingham, but they're now only 9 points off the playoffs, and they've got a massive game at Sheffield Wednesday on Tuesday where they can go above Wednesday with a victory and really get close to the playoff positions. I think he's got dual ambitions now, Rowett, and I know obviously he won't rest loads of players because it's a Birmingham derby, but he rested a few against Blythe Spartans in the last round, and my God, they nearly got knocked out by Blythe Spartans. So even if he takes 1 or 2 out, I think they'll be severely weakened. And also, the only really good team that's been to Birmingham under Rowett is Derby, and they ran out 4-0 winners. I think Birmingham are slight flat-track bullies under Rowett. I think a classier team like West Brom should be able to take care of them. So 26-25, West Brom win.
Flat-track bullies, horse racing, football. I like it. I do like it. Now, let's go back to Tom for his second pick on this FA Cup Easy Odds videocast. And Tom, you're going for a bit of chicken.
Am I? Oh, right, because I'm going to Ewood Park.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That took me a while there, yeah. Yeah, it's the early game on the Saturday, Blackburn v Swansea, and I think Swansea are a pretty decent price to win this one. I think Simon agrees with me if you read his column on the site.
What price are they?
They're 11 to 8 to win the match. You can get 2.42 on the exchanges, which isn't too bad a price at all. Obviously, they won 6-2 at Tranmere in the last round, which is a bit of a thumping. It's a League Two side, but they put out a fairly strong side. I know he rested one or two players to Gary Monk, but their recent form's decent. It's not fantastic, but it's decent enough. And they lost 5-0 to Chelsea last time. But I think there was a tipster in the country that thought Swansea would get anything out of that game. Did they Simon?
let's move on from that.
We'll move on from that one. Away from home, they've won 2 of the last 4 matches. They're okay away from home. And Blackburn as well. They're not doing particularly well at the moment. They've just won one of the last 8 league matches. Only scored 1 in the last 3 matches as well. Could be losing Rudy Gusted for this one as well. A couple of Premier League sides touted to be after him for some reason or another.
Why?
They've probably got bigger priorities as well. They're not a million miles away from the playoff places. I think they're something like 8 or 7 points off the playoffs.
And they're at Derby on Tuesday.
Yeah, and you only need to win a couple of matches in the Championship to suddenly be title contenders at the moment, it seems like that. So they're not going to win the FA Cup, so they'll probably field a weakened side for this one. And so I just think Swansea to win the match at 11 to 8 is a decent price. They should simply get the job done.
Could be a nice Premier League double there with West Brom and Swansea to beat 2 Championship clubs. You never know, away from home. 11 to 8 and 26 to 25. That's a nice double actually, isn't it? Okay, let's go. Before we talk about the outright betting, let's go to Hops' second selection, and I think this could be an entertaining game down at St Mary's. Hops.
Yeah, I totally agree, Paul, but the bookmakers don't for some reason.
Why?
Well, I think first of all, the game is Southampton against Crystal Palace, Saturday 3 o'clock, one of the few all Premier League ties. And my selection is both teams to score, which is 21 to 20, which I thought would be odds on with everyone, but a few firms offering 21 to 20. I would definitely take that. The reason why I think the bookmakers have done this is because Southampton have this reputation for their absolute watertight defence, which of course is well deserved. They have the best defence in the Premier League statistically, but in the domestic cups they're not as frugal as that. They've only kept 1 clean sheet in the last 5 FA and League Cup games, including quite a few lower league opponents there. Obviously the injury situation isn't helping them either, with Morgan sliding in and Victor Wanyama both unlikely to be risked. Obviously at centre back Toby Alderweireld, I believe is how you pronounce it, Tom, would that be right? Is injured, who's been excellent this season, and obviously Mayo Yoshida is on international duty with Japan at the Asian Cup. So it's not a very good time for Southampton's defence to be playing a good attacking side like Palace. I think Alan Pardew's made no secret of the fact he's going to go on the offensive as Palace manager, and they've scored 9 goals in his 3 games in charge, and they've looked really sharp going forward. In particular, Dwight Gale seems to be a man reborn under him, and he seems like a natural goal scorer. Like, I think he's quite a good player to have under Pardew.
He's very quick, isn't he?
He's very quick as well.
Rather like his dad.
Rather like his dad. He's not actually his dad, is he?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
If anyone knows that, they should get in touch. But also, Jason Punchin's looked excellent as well. Palace do have good attacking options when they want them, and I think Palace will go for this again. 2 sides with clear schedules, with nice 2-week breaks in between Premier League fixtures. There's no reason why the first teams won't be out here. So I think both teams to score at 21 to 20 in an entertaining game looks the order of the day.
Wow. So 4 odds against tips in the FA Cup 4th round for this forthcoming weekend. Now, what about the competition as a whole? You have a look at the top of the market. Man City, Chelsea, 9 to 2 each of 2. Man United 11 to 2. 7's Arsenal. Liverpool will have a winnable tie at Anfield, 9 to 1. Spurs 14. Southampton 18 to 1. And it's 20 to 1 bar the 7, all filled by Premier League sides. The odds favour a Premier League team that's obviously going to win it again. But you've got a very interesting stat on this, haven't you?
Well, yeah. Basically, when the FA Cup 3rd round starts, the team leading the Premier League has an excellent record of going on to win the FA Cup. Right. And it's not really a surprise, Paul, because obviously the top 4 clubs have a fantastic record of winning the competition. Everyone knows that. I believe Portsmouth were the only real surprise winners in recent years. So I'm not one of these people that looks for sort of 40, 50 to 1 each way value because someone's got a good tie in the 3rd or 4th round. I go straight down the middle with mine. I think the best team more often than not wins the FA Cup. And for me, that team is Chelsea, and they have massive strength in depth, and they obviously have a very straightforward tie at home to Bradford in the 4th round. If I was going to have a bet, I'd go nice to Chelsea, and I wouldn't mess around. So
Chelsea beat Bradford. They have another home tie against a lesser club in the next round. 3 to 1.
Quite possibly, yeah. And Chelsea have a really strange record of drawing home ties
Yeah.
to lower league teams in the cups. I don't know what it is, but they always seem to get decent ties. So Chelsea for me.
Tom, anything for you at all?
Well,
Any value anywhere?
It's difficult. I mean, usually by this point we've already had like a big team gets drawn against another big team so far, so you start to whittle it down. But you'd expect us to be going into round 5 with the top 7 in the Premier League still in it, bar Everton, who got knocked out by West Ham, because that was one of the ones where it was a big team against a big team. So, providing they all avoid each other again, it is hard to look much beyond Chelsea and Man City, given they are the 2 best teams in the country. But it totally depends, on the next round's draw. I mean, Chelsea could get drawn away to Man City. That's possibly the only game possible where they won't be favourites to win it. But I completely understand that it's got to be Chelsea or Man City.
Not Villa?
Probably not Villa, no, based on my tip. I hope I'm wrong, but even then, round 5 is dizzy heights around 5.
Interesting. So you either maybe want to jump on the odds now before the draw is made for the 5th round, or you want to wait and be a bit more conservative. Now, don't forget to have a look into the PJ and Dunkley horse racing video, because it's a huge weekend of horse racing this weekend. It's Trials Day at Cheltenham. It's the Sky Bet Chase at Doncaster as well. And I know Dunkers has got something up his sleeve. Yeah, he's wearing one of those thick jumpers today, so PJ and Dunkley, have a listen to it. We'll be back next weekend with a Premier League video cast. Whatever you're doing this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, enjoy your betting and take care.